when he pushes in, what's happening is he's anchored into his right foot, back foot, and he's pushing all of that towards me. Does that make sense? When you apply the yang qi, it resets the origin to me. I become the origin. So if you push me, so if that's not the origin, and this becomes the origin, and then he pushes, so this is the origin, this is the destination, then which way did the force go? It goes back through him, right? Push hard, and a yang happens, and you get uprooted far. So the more I have my root down to my feet, you put your root below the ground, and then you expand yang again. Let's both expand. Go, keep going. So you're winning like that. So your root went lower, and it went. What happens is when your root is lower, and then you expand yang, it's like if you're like a boat on the ocean, and a whale comes up from underneath it and lifts you off the water, right? So now your boat is on the whale, and your boat's gonna go not where you wanted to go, but where the whale wants to go. We both want to affect the qi, right? And qi follows our intention, but whosoever is more aligned with heaven and earth has more influence over the qi. So I could push like this physically, that's gonna be weaker than if I push like this, and it's gonna be weaker than if I push like this. So the farther your legs are apart, and like this, two legs are apart, the more better your physical balance. Spiritually, in outside of the physical earth, right, to our soul, we don't stand on the ground. We stand between heaven and earth, between creator and creation, the source and physical reality. So the further apart your legs are towards heaven and earth, the better your spiritual balance is. And when you have more spiritual balance, the power, the force you can exert with your qi, so to speak, is greater. Does that make sense? And so, all right. So we have a really fun discussion about the true nature of yang in Tai Chi. Okay. So we've done this a gazillion times, but I think I've got a good way of explaining what yang borrowing force really is. So here, you push me, right? So you're pushing to me here, push, right here. And then the yang happens, and then you get uprooted like that, right? Push hard, and the yang happens, and you get uprooted far. So the more you push, the more you get uprooted. So why is that? I got a good answer for it. Okay. So when you push me, go ahead and push. When he pushes in, what's happening is he's anchored into his right foot, back foot, and he's pushing all of that towards me. Does that make sense? So that's the origin, and this is the destination of his force. Okay. What qi does is qi is the energy that communicates between our physical body and the non-physical parts of ourselves, our spirit, our soul, our consciousness, these kind of things. So it's the data, the Wi-Fi signal between them. And when you apply yang qi, you're changing a setting. You're changing a configuration in the setting. So right now it's configuration, pose for a second. Yeah, that is the origin. That's the starting point. This is the destination, okay? And so this force is going to go out of the destination into me, push me over. When you apply the yang qi, it resets the origin to me. I become the origin. So if you push me, so if that's not the origin, and this becomes the origin, and then he pushes, so this is the origin, this is the destination, then which way did the force go? It goes back through him. And it's like when we do push-ups. When you do push-ups, the ground is the origin, and the destination is your body being pushed up off the ground in for a push-up, yes? And so you could think, and what happens is, in Tai Chi, we try to have a root. We talk about how whosoever's root is deeper will win, right? So let's go like this. We're pushing here, okay? Sink your qi to your dantian. So your qi's in dantian, and then mine's in my chest. You push. We push, you'll gradually, you'll win, right? Expand your yang, push, like this, go, from there, okay? Now come again.
Oh, I'm lifting myself up.
Yeah, he's lifting up. So I move my root down to the bottom of my feet. So my root is below his. So my root is below his, so then when he pushes off his root, my root is still below that. He still gets lifted up, relatively speaking. Does that make sense? So I have my root down to my feet. You put your root below the ground, and then you expand yang again. Let's both expand. Go, keep going. So you're winning like that. So your root went lower, and it wins, okay? So what basically happened is when your root is lower, and then you expand yang, it's like if you're like a boat on the ocean, and a whale comes up from underneath it and lifts you off the water, right? So now your boat is on the whale, and your boat's gonna go not where you want it to go, but where the whale wants to go. Does that make sense? So here, right now, your root is like, say, at your feet, put your root down to your feet, and then you push, expand your yang, yeah. Like this, mine's at the feet too. If I go lower underground and I expand my yang from there, see, I'm the whale and he's the boat on me. So the origin becomes my root and the target becomes where our hands come across. So he's now doing a push-up. Does that concept of whale and boat make sense? Otherwise, if there's no whale beneath you, you can row your boat or steer your boat wherever you please. But once a whale has lifted you off the water, then your root is a whale and you're going where the whale goes, where the whale says you're going. Does that totally make sense for you?
Yes.
So if you understand that, then you can have a clearer concept of what happens. Because previously, what you probably think you're doing is you drop your root into the ground and then you expand yang in every direction from your body. Expand, like this is what you're doing, and it's kind of effective, okay? What I want you to do is understand that your root is a whale that's underground now. And from there, you expand in every direction like that. Does that make sense? Okay, go for it. So my root underground, but yours can be even deeper underground. And from there, you expand, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just
What was different about that?
yeah, just imagine a whale. Exactly, that great analogy.
This is most whale style Tai Chi. Whale form, whale form.
Yeah, I
Good
think.
catch, John.
Yeah, it's like the stuff of mine. I think it's that the water analogy. We're basically water.
Yeah,
right?
we're mostly water. Mostly water, mostly space.
When we infuse our mind into this H3O2 structure, like electrically charges maybe different parts of the water, but
Yeah.
even borrowing it from the ground.
Borrowing from the
water
ground,
from
yeah.
the earth. I don't know, but it sounds cool.
It sounds cool, yeah. And so to the extent that's how you understand it, it's super helpful for you. So when you get your mind outside of just your body, your forces, your chi, deep under, and from there, that it expands, the whale expanding up, that lifts up and picks up the root. So I had a root right here, and you were from here, and you expand up, boom, you absorb my root. My root gets absorbed into your yang. Does that make sense? And after that, it's very easy for you to float me and out of my feet. So see, I'm pushing hard, right? Really hard. Yes! Yeah,
Man,
like that.
Whale
Yeah.
comes in handy.
Whale power. So does that make sense? Any questions on this, guys? All right.
So it looks at more.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
You can imagine your root a mile down, 5 miles down, 10 miles.
Okay, the question is, can you imagine your root a mile down, 5 miles down, 10 miles down? You could imagine your root, but it's not the same as feeling your root. So your awareness can extend to a certain distance. Like right now, I could expand my awareness to include, all of you here, so I could kind of get a sense of where you're at, what you're thinking, how you're feeling. I see to whether you understand what I'm saying, or I sense confusion over there, I sense clarity and alignment over here, and so forth, so forth. So I could feel a certain amount of people in a certain amount of space, right? If I could imagine my awareness going all the way beyond those mountains over there. But that's my imagining. I have no idea what's actually happened between here and there. So your awareness goes a certain distance, and you cultivate that in your as you practice your Neijin and your E mastery. How much you can move your awareness but still remain present to physical reality as opposed to like imaginary reality. That's an oxymoron. Imagination.
So would you say that the analogy of the whale in terms of activating yang is more powerful than trying to feel a separation, or it's the same? Or
It's two separate issues. So,
okay.
So he's talking about is a whale analogy more powerful or more important than the separation of yin, yang, heaven, and earth? No, they're separate things. So
separate things.
Yeah. So the whale analogy gives you the understanding that your root is absorbing mine as it expands outwards. As your whale expands, it is taking over my little boat. Does that make sense? If we both are whales, okay, double whale go like this, expand, expand, expand. So right now, what's going to happen is whosoever has better Zhongding, like this, is going to win. So what I turned on that made me win when we were otherwise equally matched was I anchored my Zhongding, my balance, to heaven and earth, what you call the separation, because we both want to affect the qi, right? And qi, follows our intention. But whosoever is more aligned with heaven and earth has more influence over the chi.
So it's more of a passive, and then using the whale analogy versus trying to separate. You just enter into that connection.
You might think of it as the heaven earth Zhongding is your spiritual balance. Okay? If we do a physical contest, you and I just push each other. So if you're more balanced physically, you push strong muscle, right? Right now we're equal. If I have poor balance, like I had like a weird stance, and we push like this, I'm gonna lose because my physical balance is worse. So having better physical balance lets me use more physical force. Similarly, if I have better spiritual balance, I'll exert more spiritual influence,
To get
more
there,
chi influence.
to get there, correct me if I'm wrong. It's just you're just imagining you're there. The Zhongding's there, or is it like like you're feeling this more of
The alignment towards heaven and earth.
so this like elongation that's
Yeah.
happening versus
Yeah.
just okay, I'm imagining it.
Yeah. So what gives us physical balance, physical grounding is 2 feet. I mean, 1 feet is okay, but it's definitely worse than 2 feet for balance, right? We can all agree on that. So if you have 2 feet far apart, like balance like this, stand like this, right? And don't let me push you over, right? So that's obviously harder than if you stood like this, right? Stand like
Right.
this. So this is better, right? Now if you stand really deep, right? Now this is really physically balanced. The farther your legs are apart and like this, 2 legs are apart, the more better your physical balance. Spiritually, in outside of the physical earth, right, to our soul, we don't stand on the ground. We stand between heaven and earth, between creator and creation, the source and physical reality. So the further apart your legs are towards heaven and earth, the better your spiritual balance is. And when you have more spiritual balance, the power, the force you can exert with your chi, so to speak, is greater. Does that make sense? And so Zhongding and heaven and earth is your spiritual balance, your foundation. And then the whale expanding and rising is the technique. That's this. So I could push like this physically. That's going to be weaker than if I push like this, and it's going to be weaker than if I push like this.
So Zhongding should be there theoretically
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so the game
Okay.
is to keep your Zhongding. Just like for a wrestler, the game is to keep your balance.
Going back to basics again.
Well, yeah, it's
One kicks out the other, and I'm like, okay, wait. So how to reconcile?
basics is the foundation, but you're having a deeper and more thorough, complete understanding of basics. So when you have this basics as your foundation, how much better will everything that comes after it be at that point? Yeah, so now that you understand the Zhongding to heaven and earth, the alignment of that, once you have that, and then you yang and let the whale expand and take over the root, you're expanding through the root, that understanding will allow you to have really good technique. So go ahead and give that a go. I'm pushing you, I'm expanding yang, you go yang line and go deep and go like that. How was that?
Yeah, it just felt like in my mind, like a central axis open, a clear channel, and then the whale just through that. It's as silly as that sounds.
As silly as it sounds, it's good that it sounds silly, and it's good you can laugh because that means you're getting outside the confines of your logical, critical, serious mind to where your spirit, your imagination lives and dreams and thrives. So this is where you want to be mentally, having fun, laughing.
It's almost like Wi-Fi connect to something greater.
Yeah, yeah.
And then things, the communication, the fiber optics through us can
Correct.
become more powerful. The connection.
Yeah,
That's
it.
crazy.
All right. So, any other questions? So very good job, very good summary about the Wi-Fi. That's your connection of your spirit to the Tao, is what we call it in Tai Chi. You connect to the Tao and you access that energy, you access that influence, and then boom, whale power. Thanks for helping me explain
Thank
this
you.
concept. Thanks for watching. See you next time.